So, Anthem by Ayn Rand. This would be the third book or the third œuvre. Œuvre, it's a French word, sometimes used in English. It means work, creation. Huh? So, this would be the third œuvre of Ayn Rand. Let me write that word on Facebook, okay? And it's written with this special French letter, which is O is connected to E. E. Œuvre. There you have it. So yeah, the fourth œuvre by Ayn Rand, the third one, sorry. It's a very short story. Ayn Rand described it as a poem herself. So we can call it a novel, a novelette, or a poem. And it's actually, we see a world of dystopia. Dystopia, that's another interesting word. This is a prefix which says no. It's negating. It's about something that is not okay. And topia, topos, it's a Greek word. Literally, it means place. So dystopia, or in some languages dystopia, it's a place which is not really a good one. Utopia, or in some languages utopia, as some people may recognize it. Utopia is a positive, beautiful place, a dreamland where you would like to be and live. And dystopia is a negative one, which is like Nazi Germany was a dystopia for the whole world. It was a very negative place to be in. So Anthem starts with the description of that civilization which has come long after our own world was destroyed by collectivists, by people who believe in the power of the collective, who were opposing the individual. So Ayn Rand is fighting against what she calls the irrationality. She's trying to preach or say that all these movements for collectivism, socialism, are very destructive and negative. And so, again, this is a tale of uh, humanity that may come in case if collectivism or irrationality, as she puts it, would win on the globe. So this world is a strange place. First, there are no private rooms. There is no such thing as a house or even an apartment in the sense of the word that we have nowadays. The hero of the work uh, used to sleep in a big room where they had 100 beds. So that was their bedroom. You have no privacy. It's just huge rooms full of people. That's it. That's one strange thing. Then, also, you do not have private corporations, of course. Everything is governed with councils, world councils, and regional councils. Lots of cities have been destroyed. There is no electricity because there are no private corporations and no smart individuals to uh, manage all the technology and all the sciences. And actually, it's the collective, it's the group of people that decides what is good and what isn't good. So, even in terms of inventions, like if a scientist wants to invent something, there is a big council that votes on the new invention, and if the majority is voting against, then the invention is dumped out. It's so the majority, the vote of the majority decides everything, and Ayn Rand shows us that sometimes it can mean regress and conservatism, and no creative idea can be born in case if there is only the majority rule. And in the novel, actually, there is such an instance where they speak of candles. And when the hero discovers the power of the electricity and offers a little gift like a light bulb, something like a light bulb, to the council of the sages, wise people, this council gets mad because they say that it will destroy the industry of candle making and of candles. So they were very, very conservative, and they also reproach the hero. They say bad words to this hero. They reproach him, telling that you, an individual, one person, you created this light bulb on your own. Was this light bulb voted by the majority? He says no. And so they say, then, so that's another interesting instance in the book. So no private living. Then everything is controlled by the groups, by the masses. You cannot have sex, obviously, no privacy means no love, no. Once a year, they go to the house of, what was the name? The house of mating or something like that. They just do this sexual intercourse mm, as something inevitable, and they do not know how to love and how to enjoy even sexual pleasure. So the civilization consists of houses. There is a house of scholars, house of mating, house of artists, and you as an individual, you have no say what you want to do with your life. It's the council that decides for you. They announce that starting from the age of 15, you will become this, and you just accept it, and you say, you raise your right hand and you say something like, the will of my brothers shall be done, something like that. So you obey, you are a slave, you have no say. Another interesting, and you cannot change it. If you are going to be a street sweeper, clean the streets, that's for a lifetime. You cannot go anywhere else. Also, you have no normal human names. The name of the hero was something like Liberty 2-2476. And they had Equality 75-2455. They didn't have normal human names because name is individual, and they are not they do not know what an individual is. Everyone is uh, brought up, is educated in a collectivist spirit. Also, this was very strange for me as a reader. This was very, very strange. What is it about? Hello, Zaven. We are discussing a book. Look at the name of the life. It's about a short novel by Ayn Rand. I'm sharing my impressions about the novel that I've read. So it was very, very strange that some of the personal pronouns were gone. For instance, there is no such word as I or I am. When the person, the hero, speaks of himself, he only uses the pronoun we. they do not use the pronoun I. They do not know that word. And in case if someone discovers it, they burn the actually quite an interesting trick on the reader on behalf of Ayn Rand. So the dystopian world she created was very interesting to go through. Um, yeah, I don't want to give away too much. Um, what happens in the book is the guy runs away, and there is a girl that follows him, and they discover an ancient home. They haven't seen a real home. When they enter, they are surprised that the rooms are so small, and they see one room in which there are only two beds. So these people are very surprised by that because they didn't have private rooms in their collectivist cities and civilizations. So it was very interesting for me. I really love. I love these ideas of utopia and dystopia. I love to go through these different worlds. For instance, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, or mm, well, 1984. I'm not a big fan of that. However, there are lots of interesting utopias in fiction works. So, what is the book about? Do you recommend it, and is that a made-up story? Well, Zavenjan, yeah, if I'm sharing my impressions, it means I liked it. Um, I would recommend it if you like the topic in general. If you like fiction, if you like mm, exploring different worlds, different philosophies, then yeah, that could be very interesting. No problem. You can ask questions, you can come up actually. We can have a dialogue and then you can leave the live. So, no problem. Feel free to leave your comments and interact with me. Yeah, and then actually, when the couple is in that new home that they discovered, oh, I write a book named Amoral Planet. Well, we can have a discussion about your book, Zaven. That would be interesting. So, if you're up for it, just leave me a private message and we'll have a live and we'll discuss your book. Yeah, that would be very interesting. Yeah, when I'll finish it, I will give you a copy. No problem. If you are ready to talk about the book now, that would be interesting as well. So thank you. Yeah, the couple is in the apartment. And they discover the bedroom and they discover books. In their culture, there are no books, and they only have manuscripts which are written by hand. So the number of manuscripts is very limited, and everyone is not expected to be um, to know the school system, like everything, is very simple and simplistic. Yeah, you can join to my live, Zaven. Let me just finish this. Let me invite you. Oh, you are not in my on this list. Well, can you send me a request to join the live? Um, so the education system is very well. It is it's close to some of the systems that exist in the world, and the students are punished if they are smart. For instance, the hero of the book was punished because he learned many things very fast. What he did, there was a pupil, a fellow student. in his group which had a problem with his brain. I think half of the brain was gone or something like that. So he started imitating this guy so that the teachers would think that he's as slow as this other guy. Um, that sounds crude, that sounds scary. However, Ayn Rand was trying to describe the education systems that exist in the world until today when stronger students, well, if it's a classroom, it means there are the people of different abilities and skills. And if the attention is put on the slowest, it means the fastest are brought down, they suffer, and education becomes boring for them because they want to do more, to learn more, and they have to slow down. This is what she was trying to describe. And, well, one could agree with that. Why not? With that worldview. So, the book and the world that we see in that book is pretty different from ours. However, we could get closer to that world. Well, if we take socialism, USSR, for instance, they were pretty close. I mean, when revolutions happen, for instance, and the revolutions are violent, often there comes a time of famine, hunger, when you don't have anything to eat, when you don't have electricity, normal jobs, etc. So everything collapses, especially when it's about collectivization. Lots of businesses suffer, and lots of people who produce are chased away, for instance, to Siberia. So production and people who produce are deprived mm, of this ability. So even if I look back to Armenia, like for 30 years, the Republic of Armenia has been a pretty nationalistic project, and we degraded a great deal. In Soviet times, in 80s, the quality of life in the Republic of Armenia, Soviet Armenia back then, was much higher. Actually, yeah, around million people uh, are gone, starting from 90s because we had war. Yeah, one war. We had a war with three wars actually. In 30 years, we had three wars. We didn't have electricity for a while, even though we had an atomic plant in Armenia. We had lots of crises, a lot of corruption, um, and the spirit, the nationalistic spirit, was pretty collectivist. We were told that we're a big family under one father, and they tried to keep this one father, Serge Sarkisian. This is why in 2018 we had a revolution because they wanted to make a local Putin or Lukashenko out of this guy. So, if I look back to Armenia, I would agree with Ayn Rand's vision that collectivism, especially irrational collectivism, when it's not about mind and reason and high values and aspirations, it's about motherland, it's about irrational emotions like the land of our ancestors. We need to bring back all our lands. It's emotional, it's not logical. So yeah, it hurts. It hurts, and I've seen it too. I respect your current topic, so better we schedule a separate day for it. So finish this one. I listen to you now. Then PM, we're gonna figure out our day of discussion. Sounds good? Yeah? Sounds pretty good, Zaman. Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe I actually wanted us to listen to maybe a few passages from the audiobook. There's a very touching one, actually, a romantic one, when the girl tries to express her feelings of love towards this guy, and she doesn't have the word I. So at first she says we love you, but she was brought up in the spirit of collectivism. So when she says we, she means everyone, and she says we love you, and then she struggles to find words to mean a separate individual, and so it's both we, there is no I, it's we, and when they use the word you, there is no one single individual you, it's always the group. So that's a pretty interesting trick, actually. So let me try and find that little passage. Let's see. Maybe. Golden one. So he gave a nickname to this girl he is in love with, the golden one, because, and it was a crime. Actually, having private names or thinking of a single individual was a crime, and you would be killed if the council or the government would discover that. Let's, let's see. Ah. So the manuscripts, it's about the book. Now they're in the apartment, but that's not the passage. Let's see. Ah, we love you. No. Mhm. Alone. Alone. So this is so wow, wow. So there is no such word as I, and she tries to describe herself as an individual. Oh my God, I'm almost getting tears. Wow. So she says, "We alone, one and only, love you, alone, one and only." So they don't have the words like these personal pronouns I, an individual, and you, one single person. So yeah, and it's just 2 hours long. It's a very short novel. It's very touching to me, so I would recommend to go through this one. And you'll, well, yeah, in terms of vocabulary, that could be interesting as well. You could enrich your vocabulary with different concepts and words. So yeah, that's it. If you have any comments, questions, please go on. Zaven, you're still here. I'm done. If you'd like to come up right now or comment, um, feel free to do so. We have nothing on YouTube, it seems. Yep. So I say good night to YouTube, and let's see if something comes up on Facebook. Have a great day, YouTube. See you. All right. Do we have anything new on Facebook? Not yet.